Hello everybody. Today I would like to talk about panel mounting a Rokuhan RC-02 DC controller. I really like these controllers. They're economical. They are capable of running a number of locomotives in a consist, yet they're fast tripping for shorts. They're easy to reset with the power switch. And they are controllable with DC input or batteries. So it's really cool little controllers. They're less than $35 or so at your local dealer. So when it came time to do a dedicated control for this small little cute shorty yard I'm building, I wanted a dedicated DC controller. So my immediate thought was I want to use an RC-02. I don't really need the battery section of the controller. I'd like to mount it a little more flush on the panel. Looked at 3D printing, looked at the inside of the controller and decided the best thing to do is actually just to mount the front portion of the controller. If you look inside one of these controllers, the inside's actually fairly simple. The majority of the controller is actually taken with the battery box. And it's convenient because the bottom half is literally, it's cut exactly where the battery box is. So the idea is take this controller and you snip the battery wires that you don't need, and just due to the routing of the wires you'll also need to snip the outlet and you'll need to snip the connector on the feeder. You can keep these if you want. You will have to provide a larger hole for them to fit through underneath the panel mount underneath this controller. I opted to clip the wires, but you can keep these and just drop them down below the panel if you like as well. And you will need to remove and clip these wires from the accessory port. Again, you can keep these if you want. You don't have to clip these. But you're already got 12 volt underneath the panel anyway, so it's not really much use for these this little button panel. Once you take those items out, this actually flush mounts perfectly. These posts are a little higher than the edge, just barely, which is fine. That gives you guides for the two holes that you'll need to drill. So to mount this on your panel, you need to drill 2 holes. You can just press this hard against your panel and get the imprint of the 2 posts here, and then you can drill the appropriately sized hole. And then you need an additional hole for your power and your feeder to drop through your panel. I'm looking at this upside down. So let's take a look at what this looks like underneath. It's really pretty simple, pretty clean. Well, I guess first let's start at the top here. So in my particular use case, it's pretty clean. You do have the unused partial holes for the feeder and the power. And on the back, you do have a small gap where your accessory went. So you have to be okay with the slight gaps that causes. And depending on how you mount, you may have a small gap there as well. If we flip this over, then you should be able to see these are the 2 original screws that went with the RC-02, and all I did was add small M3 washers onto them. Maybe you could add a larger washer, I don't know, but M3 washers worked fine. And these are the 2 battery wires and the 2 feeder wires. That's pretty much it.